Yeah.
And I remember Lillian wasn't there, and I was already at that point insecure about it. I'm gonna tear up.
Hello, so today we're gonna do our 18 under 18 questions. First off, who are you and what do you do?
My name is Anita Fang,
And I'm Lillian Fu.
and together we started Sustainable Success, which is somewhat of a grassroots organization where we use content, webinars, and a lot of other events to mainly encourage conversations surrounding mental health and student well-being.
So we know that starting an organization with someone else involves a lot of teamwork. Describe each other with one word.
My word for Lillian is compatible.
Oh, compatible with you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I feel pressure to say the same, but I was gonna say dedicated for Anita.
What about your business? So describe sustainable success in 5 words.
Sustainable.
Successful. Challenging, rewarding,
Motivating.
uniting. I'll just say important.
Yes.
So why did you start Sustainable Success?
Because we are both really interested in psychology. We just felt like Concordia, we don't really have a student-run organization that focuses on student well-being. Like most of it is ran by the counselors. And we thought that having more of a student perspective could make this whole topic more accessible for our student body, and that's kind of why we started it.
And when you started, how supportive was our community towards your organization and your projects?
I think a lot of the support we received was from our counselors, our teachers. They were all like, when we proposed the idea, they were all like, wow, we're so surprised that none of the other students thought of this. Like, this is something that our community really needs. For our students, I think it really depends on the student. For us, we think underclassmen guys are the hardest to reach, especially just for our message. It takes a lot of introspection, takes a lot of just people vulnerability, and guys, especially younger people, it might be harder for them to do that. So that's like something we're trying to continue to work on, to trying to get that vulnerability side more prevalent for underclassmen. But I think for upperclassmen, they're pretty receptive and supportive.
In general, what do you think is the most important quality or characteristic of a founder?
We actually talk about this a lot in Sustainable Success, and it's just intrinsic motivation.
I was gonna say that too.
Yeah. We're so in sync. If you're founding one like from scratch, I think it's so important to have a genuine passion for whatever you're doing, so you're able to go past the obstacles and really make it sustainable if you wanted to have like a positive impact in the long run. I think that's seriously like the most important thing.
What about what type of people should not consider starting an organization?
The first thing I could think of is people that really just wanted to do it for their resume. Like if you don't,
I was gonna say that too.
like if people don't actually feel passionate, or if they don't really believe in what they're doing, they shouldn't really do it, because the initial excitement wears off really quickly, and it does take a lot of effort and perseverance to kind of combat all the challenges you meet along the way. So for people that don't actually have a passion for the thing that they're doing, they should rethink or reconsider.
I think also if you want your organization to be especially successful, it's important to be somewhat of a risk taker. It's really easy to play it safe and kind of do what people have been doing for previous years, but that doesn't really make you stand out in front of your peers, and doesn't make your organization stand out. So I think being able to take healthy risks is really important when starting an organization.
Yeah, definitely. If you knew blank was going to happen, you would have never started Sustainable Success.
Honestly, I don't think there is anything.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes it is discouraging if we posted a video or if we're trying to host an activity and we don't get as much engagement, but that doesn't make me feel like, oh, I regret starting it. Like, I would never regret starting this.
Sometimes we'll dwell in that insecurity for a bit, but in the long run, it kind of just motivates us to continue going and kind of adapt to it. There were a lot of points, especially the end of last year, where we were both feeling really, our morale was very low because it was COVID and it was kind of hard to engage with students, and we kind of had to get out of that funk, force ourselves out of that funk. And I think something unique about Sustainable Success is it's just us two. It requires a lot of motivation to do everything with just us, because we don't have anyone else helping us, and we're kind of detached from the school as well, so the teachers aren't extremely involved either. There were some times where it was super difficult, but we powered through.
Yeah, I think we encourage each other and kind of support each other at our low moments.
If your entrepreneurial process was a song, which is it?
Like a throwback song. Every once in a while, you'll go back to it and you'll realize like how much you loved that song back then, and then you'll forget about it, and then you'll go back to it and you'll love it. And then,
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you love about starting Sustainable Success?
I loved how close it brought us together since we're so motivated to do this project and we're just so compatible with each other. The entire process of Sustainable Success, I don't know what I would do if I was working with anyone else but Lillian. So I'm super grateful that we had that idea and we were able to stick through with it.
Yeah, I feel the same. Like for us, we both sometimes we got stressed or we got busy, but I think we're just so compatible that we always know to cover for each other. So if there's a period where I feel really unmotivated, Anita would just be like, oh, I could carry you for this little bit, and then I would do the same for her. And I think we just have that thing going where we just know how to work with each other.
Yeah.
So going back to before you started Sustainable Success, what was your first impression of like starting an organization?
I think we were about to enter junior year when we had the idea, and we didn't really think too much about the obstacles we would face. We just identified a need and we were like, yeah, let's just do it.
So you weren't scared of...
Yeah, I think back then we really, really wanted to make this happen, that we were like, okay, we're just gonna, there's a challenge, okay, we're gonna face it. Like,
I don't
we
think
were just
we
so
even
driven.
like considered the possibility of no one caring about us. We were just naive. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I think like it's just important to find someone who you can just bounce ideas off and you get super excited with, and you don't really get anxious, you know, just like someone that can keep you energized. And
During the process, was there a moment when you just wanted to take your time away from just Sustainable Success?
Oh yeah, we had that at the end of the summer. So basically kind of like the start of the semester, we like worked really hard on Sustainable Success over the summer too. We were like working with the counselors, doing like middle school to high school transition stuff, trying to still keep up with our Instagram posts, and there was definitely a moment of burnout where we just feel like our ideas aren't good enough and we start doubting ourselves. Not only Sustainable Success, but we also started doubting our own ideas, creativity, and skills, and those kind of things. Sometimes it's healthy for us to take a week or two off of Sustainable Success just because sometimes it gets overwhelming and kind of get into our own heads. And I think after just 2 weeks of just having a break, it's a lot easier to come up with new ideas and following through a new plan that gets us excited.
there was another point where we were both, especially me, I was super insecure about Sustainable Success. It was, I think, January of 2020. So this was during Sis Moon, and I was talking to a few other people. We were like cleaning up after the conference, and we were just sitting there talking, and then someone asks me like, oh, you do Sustainable Success, right? And I'm like, yeah. And I like started talking about it, and they were like, oh, Sustainable Success is such a joke, like no one cares about it, like everyone just laughs at you guys. And I remember Lillian wasn't there, and I was already at that point like really like insecure about it. I'm gonna tear up. I was like already insecure about it. So I remember, especially since Lillian wasn't there, I like didn't know what to say. I was like, okay. And so after that, I just like was really insecure for a while. And then we tried to do a gratitude like activity where we had a poster where people could write what they were grateful for. And we thought that it was going pretty well for like a few days, but then I think it was probably like some middle school kids or some underclassmen just vandalized it.
Yeah.
And then we were like,
Yeah, it was just so disrespectful, and that was our first major setback. Like at first, we never realized how some people aren't really receptive to Sustainable Success, but that was the moment where we realized like maybe our message isn't for everyone, like maybe not everyone is ready for this yet. It definitely took a long time for us to accept that, and even now it's hard for us to accept that not everyone loves Sustainable Success. Some people just don't know how to appreciate it yet. It's definitely something we're trying to work on. I think as an organization, you just need to know that it's not going to be for everyone, but as long as you're trying to work towards
and
it.
especially if it's a service-related organization, I would consider Sustainable Success service. Quality is a lot more important than quantity. the amount of people you supposedly impact doesn't really matter if the impact isn't that deep. So what we really try to focus on is establishing personal connections with people so we're able to impact them on a deeper level instead of just like saying whatever and having people just hear it in one ear and then have it go out the other.
Yeah, I think this is why we also want to do more workshops and discussions so that it really targets people that are really interested in what we're doing so that we could have deeper conversations.
In relation to like people being disrespectful to your organization, what's one piece of advice you would give, student entrepreneurs?
I would say don't be offended by it. Like, it's easy to take it personally, especially if it's something you really care about. And for us, Sustainable Success kind of carries our personal values. So when people attack it, it's almost like a personal attack, right? But I think it takes time to learn that some people, when they say things like that, it doesn't go through their mind. They don't mean it as a personal attack, even though it comes across that way, and kind of just have to accept that some people are just less mature in that way.
And also, I think when people attack your organization, it just reaffirms how important your organization is. Like for us, okay, yeah, there's so many immature people, but that just shows, wow, we need to establish the emotional maturity through sustainable success.
And during your process of starting Sustainable Success, who is like one role model that you like followed throughout this process?
Something that was unique was that no one in Concordia has really done this before, so we were starting everything from scratch.
There are like, our friends are also really good leaders. When we look at them, like we were just talking about this yesterday, like Ifany, we really admire some parts of her leadership. A lot of the times people have different leadership styles, and we feel like we are often inspired by other leaders, but Sustainable Success is pretty unique, so we're also trying to establish our own style.
Yeah, and we didn't really have an organization or a specific person that we looked up to throughout the process.
And like on the note of like gratitude, like who is your go-to advisor during this process?
Each other. Sometimes I would talk to my mom if I was feeling really down.
Yeah, a lot of high school teachers are super supportive, like Mr. Love, Mr. Lavender, Mrs. Lavender, and even Miss Mahoney. Whenever there's like any problems, she's always the one that comes to talk to us, and she's like, oh, let me know if you guys need any help.
And also Mr. Chowning was really supportive, and he opened the door to a lot of opportunities for us working with the administration, so we're really grateful for him.
And who do you thank the most for your success?
I'd say my mom and Lillian.
Aww. Yeah, each other, probably.
What would you tell your middle school self?
Fake it till you make it.
Don't worry too much. Just try your best and it's gonna work out one day.
Life is more fun when you try. Being a tryhard is not a bad thing.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That's it.
Last question. Why should students want to start their organizations?
It's so rewarding, and it's like such a great learning experience.
When you start your own organization, you see how everything you learn at school can be applied in real life, and I think that's so cool. For us in AP Psychology, like we just see so many connections, and it's very rewarding.
And it's so nice to have something outside of academics for you to find some sort of validation in. Because if you're too caught up in academics, if you're having like a bad day at school, the entire day you're just gonna feel so down on yourself. If you have something to go home to and something else to work on that isn't really related to school, you feel like your self-esteem is stemmed from a lot of different streams, and it's pretty like validating.
I think it's really validating when you know something you're so passionate about could actually translate into something that could help others. And I think as just a high school student, that part of learning is really important.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. I've learned so much
Thank you.
from you guys, and you guys are really successful, and you should know that if people are still being disrespectful. And Sustainable Success is really helpful to everyone. So yeah, thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you.